Hello and welcome to Marketing Monday. It has been a little while since we had a live Marketing Monday episode because I was a tiny Tim during April, but I'm super excited to be back with a Marketing Monday that is about all things email marketing. So we are going to dive into over 40 different types of emails that you can send your email list. So if you have been stuck or lacking inspiration, then hopefully this live stream will encourage you to get stuck back into your emails. So do let me know if you are watching live and give me a shout, say hello. It would be great to know who's here. Hey, Quick Colo World Coffee, good to have you here over on YouTube. I am on both YouTube and on Facebook in terms of streaming. So if you are commenting on Facebook, I may not see your comment until after the live stream is over. Hey, Julie. Hey, Angela. It's great to see you. Hey, Bridget. Good to see you as well. So we are good to go. And I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to be chatting through the latest emails in Marketing Magic. Okay, so sorry, my screen share settings have changed there. Hey, Beth, it's good to have you here as well. So we are going to dive straight in because we've got 53 emails to get through. So this is really an hour to think through emails. Do let me know in the chat what your biggest questions about email marketing are. What are the things that you find the most challenging with it? What are the sort of bottlenecks that you're facing? This is a space for questions as well, and we can have a look at solving some of those problems while we are on this live stream. So if you are new here, I am the founder and creator of Marketing Magic, and this is an AI-powered business growth tool to help you save up to 40 hours a month of time in your small business. So the latest update today was all things email marketing. So I thought it would be a good opportunity for us to think through email marketing for Marketing Monday and have something visual to be able to look at as we chat through it. So the email magic tools for Marketing Magic today have recently welcomed into their ranks event promotion emails, onboarding emails, sales emails, value emails, and webinar emails. We already had a welcome sequence tool, which has also had a little bit of an update behind the scenes. And then there's an email freestyle tool there as well. So, hey, Jen, good to see you here. And Cheryl, lovely to have you as well. So we're going to just think through some of the different automations that you can create in your email marketing to make your life a whole lot easier. The welcome sequence has been around on Marketing Magic for the longest, but we want to have a welcome sequence set up so that when people join our email lists, they can get to know us and our business. So this is going to include a variety of different emails, from delivering a freebie to sharing some of your best content, delivering value and showing your audience, how you can help solve their problems, and sharing a little bit more about your business story. So the idea of a welcome sequence is to build trust, build credibility, get to know your audience member, and then also, present some of your paid offers for people to start understanding what you sell and how you can help them. So that is the starting point for a lot of people. They will create a welcome sequence, and they might end up also setting up an abandoned cart sequence if you're e-commerce as well. So you might have those already, but it's not necessarily something that people think to do automatically to set up other types of sequences on autopilot. So the idea of things like the email freestyle tool and the value emails mean that you can continue to nurture your audience beyond your welcome sequence, and build in promotional emails and sales emails in between campaigns as well. So there are a couple of tools here that are going to be really suited to live things. So event promotion and webinar. Both are primarily designed to promote something that's happening in the future. You can put Evergreen on the webinar tools one, But we're going to have a look at some of these use cases individually and when you might use them in your business, and what kind of emails you can include in them. And then you can either set these systems up in your own business using marketing magic or doing it manually. It's entirely up to you. So okay, Ali is in the chat on YouTube, super excited. That is great. Cheryl, that problem is such a common experience, don't worry. So when you first start building out your email list, it can just feel incredibly overwhelming because you are aware that you're talking to a small number of people. You're not necessarily sure, what you should be talking about, and you're kind of finding your own groove and style when it comes to how you communicate with people. So we're going to be looking hopefully at some things that will make this process a whole lot easier. But the idea of what you talk about, really as a business owner, if you're ever feeling stuck for what to say, the question that you want to ask yourself is, what does my customer want to know about, or what am I trying to sell? Both of those things are going to give you so much to talk about without you needing to be in the mood to create content. So great to see everyone chatting. As always, do feel free to share a bit about your business in the chat if you would like to do that. We always love to find out more about what people do in their businesses, and it's a link-friendly zone in the comments. So let's take a look first at what do you do if you don't know what kind of email or what topic to send out to people. So we're going to go up to the Content Magic tools. And if you've been around these parts at all, you will know that this is one of my favorite places to start when it comes to getting ideas for content. So I am going to start with getting some ideas for generative AI in marketing, and then we're going to look at how I might use that to build out some emails in my business. So obviously we're on Marketing Magic right now. It's an AI tool. So the topic of AI is something that if I'm talking about it and people are interested, whether it's marketing or the AI side of things, people coming into my audience are likely to be interested in Marketing Magic. So we've got a few different suggestions here. We've got some keywords, which are great if you are thinking through your website content. But for this, we're thinking about email content. So we are going to do some skim reading, and we are going to pick something that what is a large language model and why should I care about it? We're going to go with that. So let's now head over to Email Magic. So when you choose a topic that you have a natural lead on to sell something off the back of, because this is a business. It's not a hobby. So you can share value, but you obviously want to make sure that you are sharing things that are related to what you're selling. So that's the first filter, is make sure it's relevant to your business. You don't need to worry about sharing anything to do with your personal life. It's not a journal. It's not something where you need to be inspired to kind of share your own experiences. You can take the lead from the topic, the things that you sell, and then your customers and the questions that they have. So what we've got some ideas for there are FAQs, and they are things that our customers might have questions about. So there are a couple of ways to do it, and the email freestyle tool is the original tool, but we are actually going to go over to the value emails tool, and I am just going to put what is a large language model and why should I care about it. Now, with the value emails, these are different formats that value emails can take that allow you to very naturally provide value for your audience, while also, ensuring that you are positioning your content to be a step within the customer journey. So let's do an FAQs email, and we're going to hit create. Because we're live, we can have some dead air while it creates. But with each of these emails, they have a slightly different format. So for those of you who are customers, you can head over to the knowledge base, and I've recorded some demos and talked about this, talked about these different tools in a bit more detail over there. But each of these will give you a different sort of structure to follow. And these are all really good examples of the kinds of things that you can be sending to your audience in between sales, emails, and pitches, because they are positioning your expertise, they are sharing more about your business, they're sharing more about your audience, but they are also going to help you naturally lead into the things that you're selling as well. So a case study is typically, something more customer focused. We're going to take a look at that in a minute. FAQs is usually going to look at a roundup of different common questions that people have. And that's actually a really fun kind of email to include if you've got lots of lead magnets or resources, because you can include a link to some of those things while you're answering some of the commonly asked questions. How-to guide, problem deep dive, resource roundup, story, tips and tricks, video tutorial. So if there are any specific ones from this list that you would like to see in practice and for us to talk through on this live stream, let me know in the comments and I will happily take live requests for which ones we look at on the live stream. But for now, let's look at this FAQs email. So all I've done is put one question in here as a starting point. For the FAQs, I could put 3 or 4 questions into that box and it will inform and structure the email. But this is going to give my personalized email there. So I'm on Active Campaign. So that's how my emails start for personalization. It's got a little engaging question. Everyone wondered about the buzz around large language models and why they're a big deal in the digital marketing world. You're in the right place. We're demystifying the tech and exploring why it should be on your radar. And then we've got what is a large language model? Why should I care about LLMs? How can LLMs benefit my business? Are there any drawbacks to using LLMs? And then there is a little call to action there as well with a PS. So you can kind of see how that FAQ structure, based on just one question, has pulled out a whole thematic email on that topic, which is a great starting point for me to be able to go in and then add my own additional stories, anecdotes, etc. So I am just having a little look at the comments to see if anyone has got any questions. I will come and answer those in a second. But for the purposes of continuing, let's think about a customer case study. So we have got our customer reviews over here on Marketing Magic. And Andrea, I might just pull this review. I think we've reached the limit of that. Let's Leanne, we're going to take your review there. And we're going to, and I've just put an E on the end, and I don't think that your name has an E on the end. It's 2 E's. There we go. So we've got a customer testimonial. Now, full disclosure, I have not tested this in a live environment before, so you're seeing me do this in real time. It feels very risky, but we've just got a sort of case study email that we have asked it, and we've put a customer testimonial feedback piece in this section. So we're now going to see what it does because we haven't given it any other context apart from pasted that in. So it's actually not done too badly of a job. Have you ever found yourself brimming with ideas but struggling to bring them to life? Meet Leanne Forbes. And then Leanne's challenge, enter transcript magic, the results. Imagine having the tool at your fingertip. And then it's got a little call to action there as well. So that did quite well based on the fact that I literally just did a copy and paste from Trustpilot. But again, with the case study, you can kind of see how you can share a little bit about what your business does and, really give a little bit of story-based context to your email list as well. So let's now take a little look at the how-to guide. And then for this, we're going to go back to the content tools and get another topic idea here. So let's take this question. Go back over to the value emails, and we've got how-to guide, and we how to understand your data privacy to make better decisions about your digital tools. I'm just going to reformat it so it's not a question. And then we're going to hit create, and we're going to see a how-to guide format as well. Just to kind of give you, again, some examples of how you can take different ideas for content, different topics, and use them as a really great starting point to help you think about how to share your business story, your products, your services, what it is that you're doing in a value-driven way. So that's what the values emails are all about. We're going to let that think about it for a second while I catch up with the comments on the live stream and see how everyone's getting on. Angela, while it's fresh on my current to-do list, which one would be a best fit for the email sequence after someone signs it up for an opt-in or lead magnet and is new to your ecosystem? That would be your welcome sequence. So if someone's new to your business, you want to send them a welcome sequence or something of that nature to make sure that you have given them the context for your business, and it's still done in a value-driven way that includes calls to action to buy your products and find out more about you, but it's really a helpful introductory sequence there as well. Ali just finished listening to an old podcast episode that Minix was on from Monica Phrase. That was last summer. It's on the Empowered podcast, so you can head over and check that out. I actually just did an interview today with Neil Wilkins on his podcast, and he is a marketer based in the UK here, but he shared the video on his LinkedIn. The thumbnail is a travesty, I have to say, but it was a really good conversation. We were talking about what AI allows us to unlock in terms of what an AI word, but in terms of like how we can make our businesses and our work more human focused and not feel intimidated by AI. So that was also a fun one. If you enjoyed Monica's, you will enjoy the conversation I had with Neil as well, because it has similar existential energy to some of it when we're talking about how we can apply these systems in our businesses. Bridget, I am marketing a girls group to a cold email list in a hope of getting referrals from gatekeepers. Any suggestions? So please, could you give me a bit more context what you mean by getting, so obviously your referrals, but what do you mean by gatekeepers? I just want to double check the context of that there. Okay, so we've got this how-to guide, and we have got a step-by-step process here for how to protect your digital privacy online. This one has way more emojis in it than the previous two did, but that's really another example of how you can format something that is value driven and topical, but it's still relevant to your business. And just do be mindful that very occasionally AI seems to think that a PS goes before your sign off. ChatGPT has and GPT and AI in general very evidently have never interacted with the real world sometimes. So that is some of the value emails. Now we are going to have a little think about the difference between a welcome sequence and an onboarding sequence. So I've already mentioned the welcome sequence. That is the email sequence that you want to send to people who are new to your list to introduce yourself. And we talked about that at the top of the live stream. Now, onboarding emails are basically a welcome sequence, but for a product. So people are already in your audience, but they've just become a customer for something. So an example of this would be for me to send emails to people who sign up for Marketing Magic to make sure that they have everything that they need to successfully use Marketing Magic in their workflows. So you can select a product from the drop down and create the onboarding emails for that product. You do need to have a product selected because onboarding emails are specific to your products. So someone makes a purchase and then they get an initial welcome email. And then these are all examples of emails that you can include in that sequence. And you can pick and choose. There are 10 here, and that would normally do about 8 weeks worth of emails and check-ins and making sure that people are, moving along the learning pathway or the product, whatever it is that you're selling, in a way that is consistent. So for things like memberships, for courses, for anything where people have got digital access to things, these are a really great shout. If you're a service provider, these are a really good way to collect information and maybe nurture people. If you've got, if they've booked a VIP day with you, for instance, but that VIP day is 6 to 8 weeks out, you might have some emails that are going to go out to them, giving them tips and tricks, giving them resources and collecting information from them before that day. So an example would be if you are a photographer, if you have got a photo shoot coming up, then you might want to send a tips and tricks email for how to get the most out of your photo shoot, how to plan your outfits, etc. Take action might be to fill in a questionnaire. So you can really apply these across a variety of different business types, but you do want to consider what your customer's experience is, and you don't just want to send them to everyone because not everybody needs all of those emails. So if you've got a membership or something that's like a recurring or ongoing piece, a mastermind, a group program, something where people have committed to it for 6 months or longer, then all 10 can work. But apart from that, you might want to pick and choose. So we've got people welcoming new leads who've never interacted with our business before. That's what our welcome sequence does. And then welcoming people into specific products beyond just that post-purchase confirmation email to make sure that they are able to take action and get access to the support that they need to make the most out of that. So let's have a look at the chat and do a check-in of the chat. Okay, so yeah, Bridget. So doctors, school counselors, and administrators. So as far as like sending emails to a cold email list, I'm in the UK, so we don't like do that as a strategy because of like data protection and stuff. So I would actually, for that, draft an email in your like Gmail drafts. I would send it using something like Yet Another Mail Merge, and send that out as a sort of more personalized outreach email. So let's have a little look at what you would do in Marketing Magic to get that. I would go to Freestyle and I would ask for a template outreach email to, what's the equivalent for you if you've got doctors, counselors, etc., agency owners offering AI system building. Let's say cold outreach email and see what comes up. So that's potentially, I've obviously made up the use case there, but that's because my business is marketing, so I can't put your use case in here without it coming up with some absolutely ridiculous stuff. But using something like Yet Another Mail Merge, absolutely do not use the subject line that has been suggested by AI. It will look like spam. So I would have the subject line be something like, girls group counseling, referral question mark or something like that. And I would use lowercase. Don't use title case. As soon as you've used title case, people intellectually will be like spam for that. And then this is written in my tone of voice, obviously, because it is my own business. But I would edit that to just sound as personally written as possible and send it that way. Because on a cold list, people haven't opted in, they haven't asked to hear from you, you are more likely to be met with people feeling annoyed if you are sending it from a regular email tool and it looks like a mass send. So that is how I would approach that particular use case for the chat. So you could use this for waitlist emails as well. Yes, you can absolutely use it for waitlist emails. You can use the email freestyle tool. You can also use the product tool. So let's do this. Create a waitlist invitation email for this course, and then let's hit submit. So this is something that I run. It's my previously was 12 weeks, but it's going to be an 8-week SEO with an extra program. The reason it's going to be 8 weeks is because I have built tools to help you automate so much that it no longer needs to be 12 weeks long. So I have got that product there. And then this is the waitlist is open, and that is an invitation to join the waitlist there. So in terms of creating a waitlist invitation email, that's the approach that I would take for that one. Great. So we have taken a look at email freestyle. We've taken a look at product freestyle and how you can use that as well. We've also looked at the welcome sequence, the onboarding emails, the value emails. We have not yet looked at sales emails, event promotion, or webinar. Let's just take a quick look at abandoned cart emails. Now, if you have a cart software in your business, if you're an e-commerce business owner, especially if you're an e-commerce business owner, the abandoned cart sequence is more important than your welcome sequence. And I know that that is a bold statement, but the abandoned cart sequence is going to send a reminder out to anyone who has added your product to the cart and then potentially been distracted away from it to follow up and ask if they, had any questions, if they wanted to complete their purchase, but it's just going to give them a reminder. Now, it will usually only do this if you either have their contact details in your business's email provider already and you've got tracking set up. So something like ActiveCampaign will track activity if you set it up to do that, or if they get to the checkout and put their email address in but they don't finish the purchase. So with the abandoned cart sequence, this is sort of the way to structure it. And 3 to 6 hours after cart abandonment is often the thing that people set up and leave. But here is a hot tip for you. If somebody is browsing at 10 or 11 o'clock at night after their kids have gone to bed, but before they go to sleep, and then they fall asleep or they get distracted away from what they were doing, and you send a reminder 3 to 6 hours afterwards, that is going to reach them while they are asleep. And by the time they wake up in the morning, they're likely to have a whole load more emails in their inbox. So what I would always recommend having is, at least if you've got the 3 to 6 hours after cart abandonment, have at least one other email, and probably the 48-hour one, but you could do it 24 hours as well, and have it go out at the time, 2 days later, a day later, 2 days later, 3 days later, that they were browsing in the first place, because it means that if it's the middle of the night, they're still going to receive an email while they're likely to be awake. Excuse me. So that's the abandoned cart sequence. And then we're going to take a quick look at the event promotion emails here. I'm not going to dive into this really heavily, but this is a sequence that is designed to help you create emails that sound like your tone of voice for your audience, based on the summits that you're contributing to, or any events that you're a part of that you want to send information about to your mailing list. So the event name, event summary, event date, and your contribution to the event are going to set the scene. And then you will be able to create a variety of emails. Now, it is really important that you only send emails that are in line with the host of the event's rules, for want of a better way of putting it. Some people, will say you can't promote it before a certain date. There might not be an early bird wait list. There might not be some of the different things that these emails are set up for. So this is very much a tool where you can take the things that are relevant to the event that you're taking part in, and then set those up, and it just helps you to create something that is angled towards your ideal audience. Lots of the time when you're taking part in events, obviously swipe copy is provided for you from the host of the event, but it's not necessarily relevant to your specific audience. So the idea of this is that it is going to be through the lens of what your ideal customers and the people who are on your mailing list are most interested in. So those emails are just a really handy thing to have in your pocket if you decide to take part in a summit or similar. And then the last two things that we are going to look at, we didn't look at the webinar emails, did we? The last two things we're going to look at are the sales emails and the webinar emails. So let's head over to the sales emails. Again, you need to have the product set up to use it with Marketing Magic. But when you are setting up any kind of sales email sequence, whether it's for a live launch or an evergreen sales email sequence, you will need to send some of these emails, because they functionally provide the information that your audience needs in order to feel like they can make an informed purchase and make an informed decision. So you can take lots of different angles to these things. If you're wanting to set things up and get some different ideas and inspiration outside of what is a relatively basic sales sequence outline for the core things that people need to know about. Liz Wilcox's $9 a month email marketing membership is a really great place to get a whole load of access to things. I'm not a part of it currently. I have been in the past, but I think I cancelled it maybe at the end of 2022 when I was building Marketing Magic, because I have not wanted anyone to feel like their intellectual property is at risk in any way, shape or form. So I will reach out to Liz to see if she's comfortable before I rejoin. But with this set of tools, like, they're designed to tick off the main things for a sales sequence, but anything that is going to be a bit more creative, a bit more nuanced, those spaces are really great for getting inspiration when it comes to creating emails for different contexts and different types of sales sequence as well. So this has got, all of the things that you would usually expect to see. So pre-launch, launch announcement, early bird special, a little behind the scenes email to share a bit more about your story and introduce yourself, FAQs, testimonials, and then reminders before your cart closes, as well as a follow-up email for if people are wanting to maybe share a little bit about why they decided not to purchase this time around. So sales emails can be set up for your Evergreen products as well. And for that, I would use the launch announcement email as the first email that they receive about the product. And you don't need to do the teaser, obviously, because it's Evergreen. But that launch announcement email can be used to share a little bit more about the offer that is available. The early bird special is going to be dependent on what your Evergreen funnel setup looks like. You might have a fast action bonus in place, in which case that would be the early bird special email. And then behind the scenes FAQ, testimonials, all going to work really well. And then again, depending on how your Evergreen email sequence is set up, one or both of those works. And then you can always do that follow-up as well and have that all automated. So again, that can be used either for a live container where you're promoting something in real time, or if you are setting up something that has all of the automation in the background. Final one, webinars. And I left this one to the last. I'm really tired today. So when it comes to the webinar side of things, I'm actually going to show you another little way that you can use Marketing Magic to help you plan out your webinars if you know that you want to promote something but you haven't got it in place yet. But let me just catch up in the chat. So Shannon, sometimes I only get subject suggestions, but not the body. I've been trying to resubmit. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Shannon, what language model are you set up for in your account area? If you have GPT-4 Turbo set up, then that definitely fixes that problem. If you're on GPT 3.5, it's a bug that I'm currently working on that somebody sent a message about today. So I'm not 100% sure why it's doing that, but I am fixing that at the moment. But fixing a short-term fix is changing onto GPT-4 Turbo in your account settings. So hopefully that helps. Can I use it to create swipe copies to my event that I'm hosting? Yes, you can, absolutely. And the other thing that you can use is if you've got your event set up as a product here, and again, you can just use the sales page or wait page to add it as a product really quickly. But you can actually use the affiliate tools here as well and get swipe copy for your affiliates to use. And that's kind of designed for other people to promote. So obviously, this is affiliates, but it would work for speakers as well, because it's basically creating templates that assume that you're not going to be the one who is sending the email. So it creates like slightly more templated stuff there. But all of these tools for creating that swipe copy for your event would work really well. Just make sure that you have your event set up as a product, and as your event type, I would have it set up as a course or program, because it's not a digital product, and even though it's not quite a course or program, it's a bit more like a program than anything else, and so that will make sure that you have all of the things that you need in the checklist. We are working on an event product type at the moment, but it won't be live before your event, I'm guessing, if you're asking me that question now. It'll be a little bit later in the year. Yes, so awesome. Hope that is the goal, is that like we're often taking part in events where, you know, it's not necessarily relevant to our audience in terms of how things are written. So hopefully that can be super helpful for you. Lindsay, thanks for your question. The SEO with Monexa course is going to be taking place from the second week of June through for 8 weeks. So it basically, the last week is the week before the kids break up from school, based on the calendar. And I do have a discount for the first 10 people who sign up, but I have been finishing and testing out all of the email tools all weekend, and I haven't gotten that ready to go yet, but I will send that around as soon as I have got a bit of headspace, probably on Wednesday, maybe tomorrow, Wednesday, to the people who've joined the waitlist. Awesome. Ali's got some good feedback there that Marketing Magic and Liz's membership work together wonderfully. And so has Heather. Awesome. Shannon, I'm so glad that fixed it. And I'm sorry about the GPT-3 Turbo thing. I'm not 100% sure what is going on with it, and I've not had a proper time to sit and look at it, but I will let you know. Okay, so we've looked at we've looked at all of the emails now, apart from the webinar emails. So let's take a little look at how we could do this. Now, Angie had a really good question on my Facebook earlier when I shared a sneak peek this morning before I emailed everyone to let them know that this update was out. If you already have a landing page set up for your webinar, you can add it as a product, as a little workaround if you want to do it that way. But otherwise, the whole point of a webinar is that you are promoting a specific product. So the ideal audience is going to be the same as for your webinar as for your product that you have set up. So as far as the webinar emails are concerned, that's why they are why it's like choose a product, because if you're promoting something on a webinar, you want to make sure that it's aligned with the audience of the thing that you're going to be promoting. So you just need to add in your webinar title, your webinar outline, and then the date of your webinar. And then you will be able to generate an invitation email, which you would maybe send out to your whole email list, a confirmation email for anyone who joins the webinar and is then waiting for it to go live, a reminder email to send out before the webinar begins, and then a last chance to register email, which you would send to your whole list again to say, this is happening tomorrow, this is your last chance to sign up. And then you've got your replay email for anyone who has joined. And then you can also create a no-show email that just says, sorry that you couldn't make it, here's the replay if you want to check it out. So those are both optional in the sense that you don't need to send both of them. You can just send the replay email to everyone, but the no-show email is quite a nice touch if you have software that kind of tracks who's attended and who hasn't, but not everybody has that. So don't worry if you don't know the answer to that question, just send the replay email. So let's take a look at how you can use Marketing Magic to help you with coming up with webinar ideas, because at the moment we don't have webinar magic. So you can obviously create webinar emails, but what do you do if you're not 100% sure what to what to sell, what to what ideas for different webinars that you might want to do for a product. So I have got the prompt from earlier when I was showing Angela how to do that. Let's say 8 different problem-driven webinar ideas for promoting this course. And then we're going to hit submit and let it cook while I catch up with the comments. And then you can see where this is going, I'm guessing. We are getting some title ideas, getting some title inspiration, and then we're going to head over into one of the other tools to create the outline. Copying to Notion doesn't seem to be working on the value emails page, but it's working elsewhere. Good to know. Thanks, Cheryl. There should be a copy all at the bottom of, oh no, the value emails is the standalone one. I'll look into that and make sure it's fixed by tomorrow. Okay, Okay, so 8 different problem-driven webinar ideas for promoting this course. Unlock the secrets of SEO, blogging brilliance for SEO success, Pinterest power, mastering SEO content creation. Okay, the future of SEO trends and predictions. So we're gonna take this one. Oh, I also like that. Building an SEO-friendly website from scratch is a good one as well. So with the future of SEO trends and predictions, because of how AI is disrupting the SEO space, we are going to do 6 bullet points for the future of SEO. And we're going to hit submit there. So this is a very simple, obviously, request. Now, my tone of voice is very anecdotally driven. So occasionally, oh, amazing. Great. So let's take this and I'm going to copy and paste that because it looks great. And then let's edit it in here. So AI and machine learning. And we're just going to delete this. These are all great, but I just only want the core headings for the webinar. And we're just going to remove some of that. And I'm going to change that Z to an S. So we're going to copy and paste that. Let's go back over to those webinar emails, the future of SEO. And then we're going to put the bullet points in here. And we're just going to put Tuesday, the 4th of June, because that date is already in here. And it means that I don't have to work out what day of the week a date is. So we're going to let that cook. Again, you can hit the generate all. It takes a couple of minutes normally for the webinar emails because there are about 6 emails. A couple of the other sequences, you can hit generate all and it will take about 3 minutes for some of them because they're a little bit longer. But the you all know my favorite way to do it is hit generate and then go get a cup of tea. Okay, so we're going to hit create again on the next one, but let's take a look at this invitation email. So we've got some different subject lines that are giving us a bit of inspiration. And then we've got the greeting and we have got join me, Menexia Stewart, on Tuesday, the 4th of June. So then we've got a summary of the bullet points that I've put in there, but you'll see that they are much more interestingly written for the email. And then why attend, you'll gain valuable insights, etc. So that's the invitation email as an example. And then the registration confirmation email gives people a little thank you and then a reminder of the details. And then you can add your calendar link here and it should prompt you to add your calendar link in and get people to add it there and then, so that that is their call to action for this email. And then just getting people excited for the webinar. So you get the gist. And actually the content quality of this is great because when I did the demo videos earlier, I had forgotten that in my brand content, I hadn't added anything in that. So whereas over here, I've got my usual email greeting and sign off and stuff. So it's just a little bit more, sounds a little bit more like me because I've actually set it up properly. So if you are, you know, seeing some inconsistencies in terms of the greeting and sign off, you can add in your preference there and it will populate it for you and save you a little bit of copy and paste time. So that's yeah, that's the different tools. And really in terms of like, you know, the live promotion of things, these two are going to give the sort of functional information that you're wanting to share with people, but written in your tone of voice, angled for your customers. And I don't know about you, but one of the reasons that I don't do more webinars is honestly because I am the absolute worst when it comes to setting up repetitive functional emails. So when it comes to, you know, writing something from scratch for the flow of emails that you need for a webinar, I always just end up reinventing the wheel and then spending, you know, ages procrastinating on it. So the idea with this is that you get to burst through that block and crack on and actually do the webinar, because I love a webinar, love doing a live stream. But yeah, the functional emails that we have to create and send to make sure that people actually show up are often a bottleneck for lots of us. And then the value emails, onboarding emails, sales emails, welcome sequence, abandoned cart, all of those are automatable. And we love an automation because our marketing does not need to be done in real time. So that's a, soapbox hobby horse for another day. But that was just really wanting to walk you through some of the different examples of how you can use AI to help you burst through your email marketing blocks and kind of crack on with making the most of your email list. So if you have any questions or want to see anything else or some specific examples of anything else, let me know in the chat. But for now, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and answer any of the questions that happen to be in the chat and go from there. So Ali, what about driving people to a specific new YouTube video, etc.? Not really an event, but with a push to take an action. That's a little bit timely. Yeah, so I would do something like use the email freestyle. Let's go back to here and let's say an invitation to join me for a YouTube live stream happening in 1 hour on the topic 40 different emails you can write using AI. So let's see what it does with email freestyle. Launch emails, popping those into your evergreen sequence. We love to see it. We love to see it. Awesome. So there are not any other questions coming through. I think I've covered most of the ones that have come through while we've been waiting for things to generate in between. But here we go. This is transform your emails with AI live and 1 hour. The subject line's still a bit hit or miss at the moment. But this is a little YouTube email example for that. I keep getting distracted, by the way, because I'm wondering what is going on in my tone of voice that every single email that I've created on this live stream has started with "ever find yourself." So I'm going to have a look at that in a minute. And in the last couple of weeks while I've been unwell, I have been building out some even more cool stuff behind the scenes for Marketing Magic for tone and language. That is an ongoing process. So we obviously have got the new setup here, but I am just letting you know that underneath the surface, there is constantly optimization happening to best capture your tone of voice. And I am building out our own machine learning programs that help to make that better and better as different resources become available to improve the way that we use AI as business owners. So tone and language there, ever find yourself is what has prompted that. And what I might do is ever find yourself. Let's do that and save it and see what happens when we resubmit. Now that I've put ever found yourself in there, because I haven't tried that phrase yet, and a couple of people have mentioned that they have done it. I know you can have the welcome sequence, but how can we do ones that are adding to a sequence? Yeah, so the welcome sequence, and then you would just do a value add. So yeah, Lizzie does it with Thursday Thought and some Monday Musings. Loads. So it's a really common strategy to evergreen your emails. It's just not necessarily the language that is used, in the wider business space. So I've been setting up Evergreen, what is effectively an evergreen nurture sequence for clients. Like the first time that I did it actually for a client rather than as part of an agency project was in 2016. So ever since email automation has happened, people have been setting things up to nurture people for 6 months, say. And I worked with someone in 2017 who had, as in I was in her course. So sorry, I'm just going to rephrase that so it's accurate. I was in her course and mastermind, so I was a customer of hers, but she had 18 months of emails set up to basically do that process. So as far as setting up your email automations goes, the way that I would have it is that you have your welcome sequence. It ends And then you can either start a I'm constantly stopping myself. Also, my chair is really squeaky, so I apologize if you can hear how squeaky my chair is this evening. I am constantly having to filter myself from getting too complicated with how I explain the way that I would do things, because I have worked on a lot of projects for these systems where there is just a very, like a lot of complex customer journeys happening. So we have got like, you know, different email sequences going on, where you've got like a 6-month sequence by product, and anyone who opts in for a lead magnet does the welcome sequence and then goes into like a 6-month nurture sequence that is aimed ultimately at engaging them with that particular product. So you can just have your evergreen sequence set up. If you want to have something like, for me, I could have an SEO lead magnet that leads people through my welcome sequence. All of my introductory emails are through the lens of my SEO experience. And then once they get to that end of the email sequence, they go into an SEO focus series of emails. And then at the point that they decide to make a purchase of the SEO in a weekend course, or, you know, one of my SEO courses, I can, you know, remove them from the sales emails and stuff that go into that. But the way that I typically would set up a nurture sequence is that you have got, you know, 2 to 3 emails that are more focused on value, and then 1 email that is a pitch or a very explicit sales email about something that you sell. So you can still do it in a value driven way, but the purpose of that email is to get eyes on a sales page, on a product, and you're making sure that you are regularly including references to your products and services. You're not just sending people educational emails on repeat. So that's just some sort of guidance as far as getting started with that strategy is concerned. But like I said, it's a really commonly used strategy. So you can kind of get inspiration from different companies. SaaS is a really interesting use case for it. So if you think about companies like SEMrush and Moz, they have a really big focus on content marketing and lead generation from that perspective. And so they often will have quite complex automation systems based in the back of anyone who opts in from a content per page, for instance. So it's worth opting in to some stuff just to kind of see how some of these bigger marketing companies are doing it, because it gives you some good reverse engineering inspiration for your own audience and business. The digital estate, does everyone have the knowledge base in their account? I don't have that in mind. Everyone should have it in their account. So I'll take a look at that after we have finished, but you should have that in your account for sure. Otherwise, if you don't, if you're not seeing that right now, do head over to your emails, and I sent a link out to it last week in the customer update email, and I also included a link to it in today's email, so you should be able to get the link from there. I'm not going to put it in the chat because it is a customer space for people using Marketing Magic, and this is a public YouTube video. Tori, I've used Marketing Magic to create a new freebie for my Have Your Cake and Eat It Too balance equation from a messy voice memo. Amazing. I love that. So good. What platforms can the automations be linked to? MailChimp, MailEye, etc. You can, so I give tech generic advice, which is that you can use these strategies on pretty much any email service provider. So the way that you set that up is different depending on what the platform is. But I would recommend getting in touch with the help desk for whatever email service provider you're using. I personally am using ActiveCampaign at the moment. I would not recommend, because they're very expensive. They're not necessarily like I used to recommend them all the time. I just don't love them right now. Dharma Jew has a really great $9 offer on how to pick your email platform. So if you don't have an email platform at the moment, I would recommend going over to Dharma's website and getting that $9 offer because it really walks you through the pros and cons of different things. And ConvertKit and Drip are 2 of the ones that are sort of in her shortlist. But she does a really great job of explaining the sort of differences and pros and cons between them. So I would highly recommend going and checking that out. Great. Cheryl, I'm loving the value emails I've generated so far. Much better at matching my tone of voice, but it did use a banned word in the suggested subject line. Yes, it does. It is doing that. So I will say that the exclusions feature is still very much work in progress. It's working. When I was doing the testing, it was at about 80%. And then it has now, I would say it's now managing about 60%. So I am working on it. And that's part of the big update that I'm working on at the moment for the next version of our tone of voice update is just much more nuanced. I'm so excited for it, but it's literally going to be months away because it is so intense and a huge amount of work. So I'm mentioning that is being worked on behind the scenes right now, but it's for sure going to be like maybe August by the time we even have the initial beta to work on, because I've basically been rebuilding everything from scratch. So but that is a process. We're like figuring out these things when it comes to the banned words and how we can make sure that there are checks in place that stop those from coming out into your results. So there'll be updates to make sure that you don't have them as much as possible before then, but we are working on like a really major project behind the scenes to address some of the editing that we're still having to do because AI thinks that it has the ability to just disobey what we ask it. But yeah, okay, where was I? I was I in email freestyle and I had the banned word. So there we go. So I added in my word exclusions there. Ever find yourself? And now we have you ever wondered how to truly make your email stand out? So that's how to craft messages. That's slightly better, right? It's not as repetitive. Ever find yourself is fine, but I don't want every single email to start out like that. So that is an example of the word exclusion working in this particular instance. However, it has used unlock, which is one of my banned words, because unlock and unleash are two of my least favorite words. Skyrocket as well. And treasure trove has been coming out a lot more. I know that a few people have mentioned treasure trove. I can't say treasure trove because there are too many TRs going on. But that is just to give you a use case example, really, of using that word exclusions feature as well. Oh, don't worry, Ali. It's fine. Ingrid, hey, adding the tone exclusions work instantly, or does it take time for it to stop generating with those words or phrases? It should work instantly. So I literally just updated that and then just generated this right away. So that is something that will work instantly. If you upload completely new sample text, that will take longer to work. And part of the reason that I get a lot of emojis in my own results when I'm doing these demos is because I do have emojis in my copy, and I've always used a lot of emojis in my copy, but I am now thinking I'm gonna have to stop because it's such a like little sign of AI generated content. But as long as there's not too many, but you can see that for this one in particular, that is like a lot of emojis when we're wanting it to not produce them. Now let's just also take a quick look here. I have got my email subject lines populated, which is why, even though they're not as good as they could be, they are significantly better than they would be if I hadn't added those subject lines in. These are awful. It's a pass from me. But if we go over to the webinar emails, these are just slightly better. They're slightly better than they would have been previously. So the addition of your email samples does make a difference as well when it comes to the suggestions. Let's go over to the welcome sequence and the subject line generator have also had a little bit of a zhuzh. Let's find what is the email about. That's what the email is about. Let's use that. We've put the topic into the subject line generator, and now we're going to get some suggestions, and we're going to see, yeah. So we still have quite a lot of title case going on, even though my formatting never uses title case, but they are just slightly, let's just do a hard refresh on that and see what happens as well, because we still have quite a bit of like unlock and unleash going on with that. Yeah, so that's slightly better. we've still got on the word unlock is wild. But I always use a single emoji at the end of my subject lines, and these are, you know, a good starting point. Okay, so any other questions? We are at the top of the hour, and I am going to be a little bit more disciplined about ending on time today, because I'm not feeling 100%, and I'm over it as well. I do have to say, I've been very sick for the last 2.5 weeks, so I feel marginally more human today, which is great because it means I've been able to do a live stream. And I was also really excited about the fact that I could finally share the email tools with everybody, and talk more about email marketing in general. So if you have any questions and you're watching the replay, as always, do feel free to add them in the chat, add them in the comments. Always happy to answer questions. Also, please, if you are watching on YouTube and you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe, because I'm really close to 500 subscribers and I have not tried at all on YouTube. So that will be just a real treat to get to 500 subscribers without having been doing anything apart from these live streams. And I have a super exciting day on, today's the 13th, on the 21st of May, I think. 21st of May, next week, with Gulje to look at YouTube strategy. So there will be some shorter form videos happening rather than just waffly live streams where we just peruse through the internet talking about marketing. Oh, amazing. I have 513. I love all of you who, like 14 of you who subscribed since I started the live stream, and I definitely did not have 513. I was under that. I was under, I think it was at 498. So thank you all so much. I appreciate every one of you for subscribing. So thank you so much. Awesome. I'm going to leave it there for today. Like I said, any follow-up questions or anything at all, let me know. If you are, using Marketing Magic already, there are videos in the knowledge base for these tools, because I recorded them this morning and I was like, I'm absolutely recording tutorials for these before I email everyone to let them know. So you can also check out the resources over there to help you if you need a hand getting to grips with anything. That's pretty straightforward, right? So thank you so much, all of you, and enjoy the rest of your week, and happy Marketing Monday. I hope that you enjoy getting stuck into email marketing, and yeah, I'll see you in another episode soon, probably next Monday. So we'll see how we go, but enjoy the rest of your week, and I will touch base with you all soon. Bye.